Hey, this is Eddie from Below Deck, and you are watching the Domenick Natty Show.
Are you dating anyone right now? And if so, can you tell us who it is?
I am dating someone right now. I am, yes. That's pretty much all I'll say about it. You know, like I like to keep my private life very private, and she's a great girl. She keeps me in line. But other than that, I'm not gonna say too much about her. You know, she doesn't want to be in the limelight, and I don't want people, you know, kind of writing stories about our relationship or making assumptions about what's going on. You know, I got burned with that in the past, so like to try to kind of keep that separate now.
I mean, is she someone like from the boat, or is she someone outside of there?
No, she's outside the boat. Nope, she's outside the boat. She's originally from Brazil. She lives here from Brazil, and she's a sweet girl, very smart. She works in fashion. She used to live in New York, but she just moved down to Baltimore, and yeah, things are going well.
That's awesome. Okay, did you meet her through like social media?
No, we met at a bar in New York, actually in Brooklyn.
Oh, you picked her up at a bar.
Yeah, you know, good old traditional, wonderful stuff there.
So she was at the bar and you slid in. You slid in next door and started talking?
She actually slid into me and started talking to me. So
yeah.
I let him come to me. Tom.
You let him come to you. Yeah, that's right. Let him buy you the drinks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's 2021, man.
Is it progressing to the point where you think you might propose?
Well, that's definitely something that has always been on my mind at 36 years old now. You know, I'm getting up there, you know, settling down and everything. But that's something that I'll do when I'm ready for that.
Okay. But you're not thinking of doing that this year or
I've got no plans. You know, when it happens, it happens.
Would you ever be romantically interested in Jessica?
Jessica, the new crew member? No, I don't think so. No, she was really sweet, really, really nice, but wasn't my type, wasn't my style. Also, we work together, and you know, I try to avoid that now.
Does she find romantic interest this season?
She does. She does. Short and sweet. Yeah.
Okay. Didn't last long.
Yeah. You know, I can't say too much, but
okay.
She's definitely part of some boatmances this season.
What did Captain Lee say to convince you to come back on the show? Like, how did that conversation go?
Well, I think it was two parts. You know, I think I was ready to come back on the show, but also, you know, Captain Lee, you know, he and I keep in touch, and he said, you know, he told me that Kate wasn't coming back, and he could really use someone in his corner, someone he knew, and he didn't want to go, you know, after doing so many seasons, he didn't want to go back and do another one and have a completely green crew. Could he have done that? Of course. I mean, we're talking about Captain Lee here. He can do it all. But, you know, still, like, he wants somebody that he knows he can rely on, and knows somebody that he understands my work ethic. He and I worked together in the past, so we understand how each other work. I know what to expect from him. He knows what to expect from me. And he just said, you know, I can really use you back. You know, like, let's make this happen. And so he was definitely a big part of the reason why I wanted to come back.
So that was pretty much, I mean, he just gave you a call and said, hey, I need you back. It was that quick, or?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it. You know, we've been talking about it for years. I mean, you know, the 5 years I was off the show, it was, you know, we would talk about it occasionally, and he asked me, you know, you ready to come back yet? You know, when are you thinking? You know, and I, you know, for a long time I was like, I'm not coming back. You know, it's not happening. But, you know, after a while of being away and working on myself a little bit, I finally decided, you know, hey, maybe this is a good time to come on back and try my abilities in the kiddie pool again.
Why didn't you want to come back? Like, what are some, like, is it too stressful with the television part? Like, it
is really stressful. That's a big part of it. You know, you sacrifice a lot to be on this show, and it can take a toll on you. Also, you know, just like being on the show can get to you. You know, you start drinking the Kool-Aid, and then if you do that, you know, your morals, your ethics slips. You start making mistakes. You start thinking that you can get away with things, and it was just like I was in a bad place, you know, like it destroyed a relationship I was in. It kind of really wasn't sitting well with me. I wasn't happy watching the show and seeing who I was, and just I wasn't okay with who I was anymore. And so And so I just had to take a step back. I had to take a step back and, kind of reassess what my priorities were and what was important to me. And, tried to take another stab at the relationship I was in. But, most importantly, especially when that didn't work out, just work on myself and, just get back to what was really important to me.
Now, what are some things that you think that Captain Lee can improve on? Where would he need some improvement?
He can get stuck in his ways, in the traditional ways that he grew up and how he started yachting and everything like that. And he needs to sometimes I feel like he needs to kind of realize the current climate that we are living in, socially, economically, everything like that. And he maybe needs to be a little more patient or a little more understanding of some of the people we work with. Personnel issues sometimes where instead of like maybe understanding the difficulty that someone is going through because of maybe something going on back home, demographic, socioeconomical kind of standpoint and everything like that, he might not be able to see that and understand where people are coming from. And it's pretty much kind of like a my way or the highway type of thing.
You're saying that maybe he needs to work on being a little more sympathetic.
Maybe just a little bit more patient at times. I'm not saying maybe sympathetic. You can sympathize with people, but just maybe being a little bit more kind of patient with things.
Patient, like maybe with like more like their emotions or things that are going on in their personal life.
Yeah.
Are there any things that Captain Sean implemented during his tenure that you think Captain Lee should consider?
No, Captain Lee is not that type of micromanager. I mean, although Captain Lee can micromanage sometimes, like whenever I'm putting up the slide, Captain Lee loves to be out there. But people seen, he gets his hands in there sometimes. But with Captain Lee, I mean, with Sean, running that beach picnic, that was out of control with just how intense he was. And Captain Sean's a great guy, but if he stayed there the whole season and he continued that same energy the entire season, it would have killed us. I mean, you can't put that amount of energy into every single beach picnic. We don't have the time or energy for all that. Nobody does. I think Captain Sean maybe could take a little bit more of a laid back, laissez-faire kind of attitude from Captain Lee.
So Captain Sean is a micromanager, right? And is in that, like, how did that affect you? Like, did you guys did that rub you the wrong way? Did you guys have altercations?
No, we never had any altercations. I mean, I would never disrespect any captain like that. But it's just there's some ways that he did some things that I wasn't a huge fan of. There's some things that Captain Lee does sometimes that I'm not a huge fan of. Sean, I mean, the micromanaging he does is like he had this kind of almost like an OCD attitude when it came to setting things up. I mean, like when I was setting up the LAS, I had things kind of put out in a certain way, and he came down. He's like, no, this is all wrong. Let me work on it. And then he did his thing, but really there was almost no difference to his setup and my setup. And it's unfortunate that you kind of didn't get to see that on the show, but it was pretty amusing. And then of course on the beach, it was just, he wanted more and more and more and more. And it was unfortunate that he wanted it in such a way that it was then affecting the guest experience on the yacht. And so, at a certain point, you got to be like, okay, that enough is enough. We got a time frame that we got to move under. And that micromanaging of those little things, they're time consuming and they can affect the overall product. Maybe he's a little too controlling. Maybe it's just too controlling.
Do you think that Rachel is an alcoholic?
I think an alcoholic is a strong term to use. That first season I worked with her, she, I think it was pretty obvious that, she had some problems when she did drink. But I don't think she wasn't using alcohol as a crutch. She just partied harder than the rest of us. And, that's her prerogative. I wasn't really a fan of how she would act.
Do you think she has a drinking problem, or an issue with alcohol or controlling her alcohol?
I think she is an issue with how she acts when she drinks alcohol. Maybe, however you want to define that. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I can't really, put a label on it. It's just, the way she acted when she got drunk wasn't my cup of tea.
Would you consider her a friend or just a coworker?
You know, more of like a good colleague.
So you guys don't really chat outside the show.
No.
Right? Which crew member would you never want to work with again?
I probably would never work with Dane again. You know, it was he was talking about a guy with drinking problems. Those are drinking problems. Someone who would become violent and aggressive, though, that's a problem. You know, and I would never work with him again. No.
Because of the drinking. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, his drinking, just his overall attitude. I mean, even his work ethic was really, really terrible. I mean, even when he was sober, I mean, he just didn't work hard. He wasn't there. He wasn't there to get the job done. He was there on his own for his own reasons.